The fact is, when the white people came, they asked the Luba people, who do you worship? And the way they said, we worship Birimukulu, which means that we direct our prayer through our highest ancestor to the Most High God. And the white people who didn't understand that, they said, okay, then Virimukuru is your Most High God. So they blemished the religion of the Luba people. So this schema happened everywhere in Africa. The other thing is that within the setting of ancient civilization, the three schools were divided. You have the martial initiation, the civil initiation, and the divine initiation. But eventually, and in that setting, Egypt was the bastion of the divine mystery. Sumer was the field of the civil mystery, and the Nubia, Ethiopia was the sphere of the martial initiation. So that's in the ancient time, they three were together, but with the divine mystery being the superior one. So what we see, for example, in Western Africa, in the Vodou, for example, is that, or among the Akan of Ghana, is that the three are mingled in one initiation, which also is something that must be known. And the other thing is that when we arrived around the year 1930, the anthropologists in Europe, they told the politician that if we want to dominate Africa, we must destroy the initiatory schools. So the initiatory schools, which were the guardian of our spirituality, were destroyed during the year 1930. So with the disappearance of those initiatory schools, the African people, more of them now, doesn't anymore know the hierarchy of the divinities of their culture. Sometimes they confuse them, and sometimes they altogether forget them, and they retain the concept of theism that was brought by the white people. So you see, all this shows that it is possible for us to work the things by starting from the Kemetic cosmological argument, which is the original scientific nature of our religion. So all the trends of African traditional religion can be explained from their scientific original nature.
At the time that we were referring, because I was trying to understand if in Africa we were practicing the same religion, the same language. Is that correct?
No, we didn't practice the same language, but the same religion. Sumer and the Sumer and Egypt didn't have the same language, the same scriptures, but the same religion. In my book titled Bukongo, I demonstrate that the religion of Sumer, the religion of Egypt, and the religion of Congo are the same. And I use comparative study in order to prove this. So I didn't say that they have the same language, but the same religion, the same theology.
You're right.
The same theology. But the stress is not always the same, because the stress in Egypt is a divine stress, but the stress in Sumer is a human one. This I prove in my book, Congo, but it is the same religion.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That is even very important now. I really appreciate that you made those clarifications. Why is it that all across Africa, they were practicing the same form of religion? I mean, was there a kind of a system of unification where all the people have a point of contact. I don't know, maybe at the end of the year, all of them come together to worship at the same place or to keep setting code so that it become always the same? Or is it because they all came from the same place? Okay, I understand now that all human beings are coming from the same family, but okay, these have been happening for several thousands of years. Sometimes we lost count of certain things. So I'm trying to understand, is it that this religion was preached to some people and then they converted, or is it because this group of people have been living together in the same place, they all know this religion, but at the point they move to different parts, so even though their language changed, they still keep their religion? Is that the explanation? Can you please say something about that?
I will say that religion is a revelation. From the start, when Bumbalowa, the creator, created man, they had a clear connection with the divine. And because they had a clear connection with the divine, then they had a clear revelation of what religion is. I mean, their religion was a scientific one, because within the setting of a clear connection with the divine, they will have the clearest idea of the unity of God and man. And that clear idea of God was the one that our ancestor had in the start. In the start. And that is also the one ancient Egypt had, because ancient Egypt did rely on revelation, while nowadays Europe relies mostly on the head, not on mostly on revelation. So this explains the original unity, spiritual unity. Now, now there is migration, but before migration, I must stress something here, that spirituality can be lived at two levels: at the divine level or at the human level. We exclude the demonic level because the demonic was a deviation from true religion. So I say that religion can be lived at the divine level or at the human level. What I mean the divine level is that is the one where purification is the key to the manifestation of the divine power. At the human level, human means can be used for the elevation. I may give you an example, because I said that primitive Christianity is akin to African traditional religion in our original schema. Now in the Bible, Jesus said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." It means that through purity, man can develop his spiritual senses, his spiritual sight. Now, if you take the Bwiti of Gabon, there is a cult there called Bwiti, a trend of African traditional religion. In order for one to develop his sight, his spiritual sight, he can use a plant called iboga. By eating the iboga, they make a kind of mental trip. So you see, this is a human way of rising. And we have to make that distinction. There is a human's divine practice of African traditional religion, that there are also human practices. Now, our aim is that the human must arise to the divine. So that's also the schema that must be kept. So the diversity is due to the different kind of both kind of practices brings diversity, but also different kind of migration, but also different kind of specificity of the nation.